When you think of a successful Korean actress, you probably imagine someone raised amidst acting schools, networking in Seoul, and a family ready to support their daughter's dream of becoming a celebrity. Park Bo-young is the complete opposite of that. She was born in Jungpyeong, a small town in North Chungcheong province, where almost nothing happens, far from the spotlight, far from the studios. The daughter of a strict military father and an extremely reserved mother, Bo-young grew up in a conservative and religious environment, with traditional values and an upbringing very different from what you'd expect of a future TV star. She was the kind of girl who spent more time with books than with friends, and never quite fit the mold of the outgoing girl that the entertainment industry tends to value. From a young age, she loved mimicking voices, acting out scenarios at home, and getting lost in characters she created in her mind. But even with this artistic instinct, she was never treated as someone destined for success. On the contrary, there were many moments when she herself thought she'd never have the courage to step onto a stage or stand in front of a camera. Her father, who valued discipline and security, even opposed the idea of her pursuing an artistic career. He dreamed of something more stable, more secure. But Bo-young was always stubborn and discreet. While many teenagers dream big and tell everyone about it, she kept her dream quiet. That is, until a school teacher discovered her talent and encouraged her to participate in a short film. That's where it all began. She appeared in student productions and caught attention for her naturalness in front of the camera. It was as if she wasn't acting. It was as if she simply was the character. Soon, opportunities came in commercials and smaller roles, until she landed a part in the drama Secret Campus, where she acted alongside Lee Min-ho, who was also just starting out at the time. But unlike him, who quickly drew attention, Bo-young went almost unnoticed by the public. Not for lack of talent, but for a curious reason. She was too discreet, almost like a supporting character. Her delicate appearance, soft voice, and calm demeanor, nothing about her seemed to compete for attention. She was the kind of actress who didn't explode on screen. The industry, however, didn't quite know what to do with her. She was too beautiful to be just a supporting actress, but considered too plain for bold leading roles. It felt like she was always stuck in the middle. She received occasional praise, but meanwhile, other actresses of her generation were already gracing magazine covers, being invited to award shows, and becoming frequent names in tabloids. Park Bo-young could easily have faded away right there between a juice commercial and a fleeting appearance in a teen drama, but fate, or perhaps her quiet effort, or maybe God, had other plans. In 2008, still with a schoolgirl face, she was cast in the film Scandal Makers. And that's when everything changed. The film, starring Cha Tae-hyun, was an absolute box office hit. The audience fell in love with the story, and especially with her, who played a teenage mother trying to reconnect with her child's biological father. It was a challenging role, full of nuances, blending innocence, premature maturity, and unresolved pain. And she delivered it all with a naturalism that caught many by surprise. For the first time, the industry and the public stopped to look and thought, who is this girl? At just 18 years old, Park Bo-young earned the nickname Korea's Little Sister. But what truly solidified her name came soon after. A series of roles where she proved, one by one, that she wasn't just a cute face. In 2012 came A Werewolf Boy, alongside Song Joong-ki, a romantic and melancholic drama that became a phenomenon at the box office and in the hearts of the audience. She delivered a sensitive yet emotionally charged performance. With that, she started being cast in more challenging roles. In Hot Young Bloods, she surprised with a bolder and comedic character. In Oh My Ghost, she showed her range by playing a shy woman possessed by a hyperactive ghost. A dual role, full of nuances, that became a reference. Even so, there was still a subtle resistance to her image. Part of the industry and even the public insisted on seeing her only as the cute little girl, the nation's sweetheart. It was as if, because she was sweet and reserved, she couldn't be taken as seriously as other, more daring or media-savvy actresses. But those who followed her closely saw the evolution. Park Bo-young wasn't just good, she was consistent. In any case, with the success of Oh My Ghost and A Werewolf Boy, she was already considered one of the most beloved actresses by the Korean public. But it was with strong woman Do Bong-soon in 2017 that she became a global phenomenon. The mix of romance, comedy, and action won over fans worldwide, and made Bo-young a household name even among those who had never watched a K-drama before. The character Bong-soon was everything Koreans love in a protagonist: cute, funny, determined, and absurdly strong. Literally, she was a heroine with super strength, but who cried in secret and dreamed of love like any ordinary young woman. Park Bo-young brought this duality to life with such naturalness that she became synonymous with the role. The success was so great that even today, many people refer to her as Do Bong Soon, despite her many other works. But the most interesting part came later. Instead of repeating the formula that worked, she did the exact opposite. She turned down obvious offers, said no to roles that seemed tailor-made for her, and opted for smaller, more sensitive projects with a focus on acting. It was as if she wanted to show quietly that she was more than a rating success, that she was, in fact, an actress. She started choosing scripts that explored other emotions. She stepped away from comedy and dove into drama. In Doom at Your Service, for example, she played a woman on the brink of death, grappling with the finitude of life and the desire to keep loving. The reception was mixed. Some found the drama too melancholic, while others saw it as one of the most mature performances of her career. The fact is, Park Bo-young was in a different moment. She no longer wanted to just win over the audience. She wanted to challenge herself. She wanted to reinvent herself. And in Our Unwritten Soul, released now in 2025, she seems to have finally found that balance. Playing twin sisters with opposing personalities, she is delivering a performance of the highest caliber. Critics and audiences are praising the emotional depth, sensitivity, and nuance with which she built the characters. It's curious to note that even after years of delivering strong performances, there are still doubts about her versatility. As if, because she started with sweet roles, she has to carry that label forever. But perhaps that's exactly the point. Park Bo-young doesn't need to shout to be heard. She does everything quietly, and yet, she remains impossible to ignore. When it comes to relationships, Park Bo-young seems to follow a simple principle: the less people know, the better. And it's precisely this silence that makes the public even more curious. Over the years, she's been linked to various dating rumors with actors she's worked with, especially those with whom she had strong on-screen chemistry. The most talked about was perhaps with Park Hyung-sik after strong woman Do Bong Soon. Their chemistry was so strong that many swore there was something off-screen. Interviews, behind-the-scenes footage, and even lingering glances were analyzed as proof that they were together. But Bo-young always deflected. Another name linked to her was Song Joong-ki, with whom she starred in A Werewolf Boy. Once again, fan theories gained traction based on behind-the-scenes moments and interviews where the two seemed very close. Still, no official confirmation, and over time, the rumor faded. In 2019, Seo In-guk's name also came up, after they worked together on a charity project and exchanged mutual compliments. But, as always, Park Bo-young chose not to comment. It's as if she made a pact with herself. Her personal life is not public territory, period. This choice, however, has its effects. While other actresses go viral with real-life relationships or romantic gossip, Bo-young remains invisible in that arena. And that leads some to see her as cold or even uninteresting outside her roles. But those who follow her closely know that's not quite true. In rare interviews, she has admitted to having fallen in love, having suffered for love, and having a very strong romantic side. There are rumors that she was once involved with someone in the industry, someone well-known even, but ended the relationship out of fear of how it might affect both of their careers. True or not, this has never been confirmed, and it likely never will be. Bo-young has never needed to expose her personal life to stay relevant. But as much as Park Bo-young has built a clean career, free from intentional scandals, she hasn't escaped controversies. And the most curious thing is that, almost always, they came not from something she did, but from the way she chose to be. The first major storm came early. After the massive success of Scandal Makers, she found herself trapped in a contractual dispute with her agency. She alleged exploitation and abusive clauses. The fight made headlines, and the result was a forced 2-year hiatus. A gap that, in Korea, can be fatal for any emerging career. Many believed that would be the lost peak of her career. And instead of support, what she received was judgment. They called her ungrateful, problematic, difficult to work with. She, as always, didn't respond publicly. She chose silence. But it was a silence that came at a high cost. Years later, now more established, Park Bo-young found herself at the center of another controversy, this time involving a supposedly digitally altered photo used by a TV program. The image suggested she had undergone plastic surgery, sparking a wave of speculation and online attacks. The actress had to go public to prove the image had been manipulated, and that she had never had the surgeries being discussed. Even so, the scars of the exposure lingered. On top of that, there's a recurring criticism that follows her career, that she doesn't reinvent herself. Some in the media say she repeats roles, always acts the same way, doesn't take risks. It's a criticism that seems to ignore the conscious choices she makes, to play complex yet real women, to turn down sensationalist scripts, to prioritize quality over easy rating. And perhaps the greatest discomfort lies there. Park Bo-young has never played the industry's game. She never dated someone just to make magazine covers. She never took a role just for the paycheck. She never tried to be something she's not. And in a celebrity culture built on image, marketing, and scandal, that bothers people. Today, with over 15 years of career, Park Bo-young continues to be loved by the public, respected by her peers, and admired by those who understand acting. But still, she's underestimated by parts of the media, who insist on labeling her as a fairy or cute, as if that invalidates everything she's built with talent and integrity. If you also think she deserves more recognition, give this video a like, subscribe to the channel, and share it with someone who still underestimates the power of this woman. See you in the next one.